And joining us now, pleased to have a conversation once again with Jay Debertin, President and CEO of CHS Incorporated, as we recap the most recent fiscal year earnings for the company. Jay, thanks for joining us. Always great to talk with you. Hope you're doing well.
I am, Jesse. Great to be with you again, and just as we're entering into winter, it seems like we're right there again, and time goes fast, doesn't it?
Definitely. I can't believe where time has gone here this year. Hard to imagine that the holidays are upon us and another fiscal year has come and gone for many companies here in the country. And of course, that includes CHS and another strong fiscal year for 2023. Just give us the high level overview to start on some more strong earnings again for the company.
Sure, Jesse. Yeah, we're fortunate to report another record year for earnings for CHS. We had a record year last year at about $1.7 billion worth of earnings. This year that we just reported this week, Jesse, we've set another record, and that's at $1.9 billion worth of earnings for the year. So two strong back-to-back years, really led, like we've talked about many times before, Jesse. It just starts with good support by local cooperatives and farmers in their business that we're able to earn by CHS from those people, the dedication of our employees and our workforce around the world. Really exceptional operational performance. The company operated well this year. And we had market forces that are also beneficial. That's a part of who we are, and that's why at CHS no 2 years are ever the same. That's just because the world is never the same, and drought conditions and weather conditions and everything else can move on us. But nevertheless, it was a really strong year, and we're just delighted to be able to return the benefits of that year to rural America.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about returning those benefits a little more here in a second. But you mentioned some of those market forces and breaking things down strong on the energy side, the ag side. You think about the robust meal and oil demand that was out there. Just looking at the different sectors here throughout the company, Jay, a lot of great things to point to, isn't there?
There is, Jesse, and to your point, just breaking it down a bit, in energy at CHS, and that a lot of that energy is under the Cenex brand that your listeners would be familiar with across rural America. We reported earnings of $1.1 billion within that area. That's up about $459 million over last year. Really came from strong refining margins from our two refineries, one in McPherson, Kansas, that kind of serves the central part of the country, and one in Laurel, Montana, which kind of serves some of the northern parts of the country. Really good performance from those two plants. Some advantages that we have were on our crude oil acquisition from Canada. We're a big buyer of crude oil up there. And together they really resulted in nice energy earnings. In our ag segment, the point that you made is absolutely right. Good earnings around soybean crushing, canola crushing business, and that's driven by lots of things, Jesse, we've talked about in the past, renewable diesel and things that are really have those industries on fire. On the other hand, we did see some reduced earnings primarily because of fertilizer kind of reset this year. A year ago, when we were talking about results, we were speaking about fertilizer prices that were really up at lofty levels, and we knew at some point they would reset because that's just the way these markets work, and they did this year, and we've reset. I'll just call it probably more reasonable levels for those prices. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, we got to revalue our inventories and all of those things. But we know that, and we expect that, and that's what happened. At the end of the day, I actually think it's a bit better for agriculture. I think the numbers we're operating in today are just more reasonable levels for inputs that farmers need in part of their operations.
Yeah, great thoughts there about things and kind of that reset, as you mentioned, in the fertilizer market. Well, overall, you alluded to this earlier with the another good fiscal year, the company planning to return a good chunk of this money to its cooperative owners in rural America in this upcoming fiscal year. Talk about that a little bit, Jay.
Sure, Jesse. I mean, that's really the benefit of the cooperative system is we can provide these goods and services at competitive prices and invest in speed and space for the benefit of farmers and the equipment that they operate. And then at the end of the day, the earnings go back to the people that did business with us. And in one way they go back is the cash we send to rural America, both for the business they did this last year as well as for business they've done in previous years and the stock they hold from that. We've announced, based on our earnings from 2023 that we just announced this week, we're going to send out early next calendar year $730 million to rural America in cash. For people that did business with CHS. Now that's on top of $1 billion that we sent out earlier this year based on the previous year's results. So if you think about it in a 2-year window, Jesse, that's $1.73 billion that CHS has sent out to rural America for farmers, for local cooperatives, both of which to invest in their business and spend in rural America. And I think that's a hugely important benefit of all cooperatives and how the business model works about putting that cash back out into rural America to the people that have a connection to agriculture. And it's we're just really delighted that we're able to do so.
Quite an impressive number. That is definitely for sure, Jay. Well, as we wrap up a fiscal year, the 23 fiscal year, move into 24, we're getting ready to wrap up the calendar year. What else is on your mind from a CHS standpoint, from an ag standpoint overall, as we look to get to the holiday season and start a new year? What is on the horizon, in your opinion?
Well, I think, Jesse, I think the horizon for agriculture is still remains good. I think lots of kind of fundamental issues underway that I think lead us to be very optimistic looking forward. That doesn't mean it's easy, and that doesn't mean you have a record year. It just, but I think we're starting with a very optimistic outlook going forward. At CHS, we just see some really interesting growth opportunities for us. We've expanded crushing capabilities. We're looking at another crush plant to build our export-import facilities. We are expanding as we see speed and space being necessary, and really the ability to get inputs to farmers faster is really important. But also on our export facilities to get more throughput and faster throughput to people around the world is really going to be important. And then in our energy platform, if you think a decade from now, Jesse, we all know that energy is going to be changing in this country. How much, how fast, where it changes, that's something that I think is just going to be exciting for us to work in. But we are already working on different developments around new energy sources and new ways of thinking about energy for the future. So I just think a lot of exciting things underway, things that people joining the company are just really excited to work on.
Well, with that, we will let you go. We do appreciate the time, as always, recapping the recent fiscal year and all the work that CHS does for its cooperative members. With that, Jay Debertin, President and CEO of CHS. Thanks so much for joining us, Jay, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Happy to be with you. Thank you, Jesse.